All right, another episode of Conversation After Dark. Tay, what's up with you?
Everything's good with me. What's going on with you?
It's all good. It's all good. Tell people where they can find us.
You can find us at Conversates After Dark everywhere. And if you would like to be a guest on the show or you have a topic you want us to cover, you can reach us at CVAD, the podcast at gmail.com.
That's right. Go to our website, www.conversationafterdark.com. Listen to our past episodes. Make sure you tell a friend about the show. So, Tay, let's kick it off with the icebreaker. I'm excited about this show, but let's
Okay.
kick off the icebreaker first.
Okay. Any particular category?
Biggest pervert.
Biggest pervert. All right. Biggest pervert. Let's see. I gotta go through these. I haven't really been getting any any good cards lately. Let's see. Have you purposely exposed yourself in public?
Uh because I'm a naturist, I'm gonna say yes, but I don't think that's in line of what they're asking about. So, for those who don't know, naturist is sort of like another word for saying nudist. And I've been a part of that community, and been at different uh, I guess they don't call them convents or just nudist communities. So, we're out in the open, everybody's nude. I definitely had done that and been in front of people who I didn't really know, but I got to know, and just hanging out for the weekend. Shout out to Black Naturist Association. They put on good events, good trips. So being nude in front of quote unquote strangers, yes, I've definitely done, but on some old just I'm naked under the trench coat or something like that. Nah, I value my freedom, and I don't want to get caught up on anything like that. You?
Uh,
Oh, and the trap. So I guess if getting naked at the trap is, in the public, I did that too.
I mean, but I would not that it's the same because I know naturists and the swingers clubs and everything are two totally different things. But I would kind of put that in the same kind of category of places where you're kind of expected to be
Naked.
naked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're definitely different. And people need to recognize that you can go to naturist, nudist events and they have a swingers element to it. Then you can do like I did with, BNA, where it's like, no, it's just about being, you know, being a naturist, loving your body positivity, and that's what it's about. Of course, people are grown, so things will happen, but it's not like, you out chilling by the pool, and next thing you see people like getting it in, by a poolside. It's not like that with that group right there. Although there are the groups that do get down like that. Yeah. So you've been nude in public?
Outside of swingers events, yes, I have to say.
What was you? Was you in New Orleans, like flashing for beads or some shit?
No, in X years and years and years and years ago. We had sex in the park. I mean, it was sexual in nature, but it wasn't like a sex event.
I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. Well, Tay, we got a good one today. Like we've talked in the past about, the BDSM world. We've taken the test, and I think when I took the test, I think I can't remember how they rated folks, but most people that are that go with BDSM, they tend to say, yeah, you're vanilla Marv. Even though I like to think I'm a freak, but I also tell people, look, I was born in the late 70s, I came up in the 80s. I'm a lover, not a fighter. So like that, the concept of pleasure is pain. I'm still trying to work to see what I could do to try to, at least try it once with somebody I trust. But we got a guest that's going to
Mhm.
answer the question for us. Mistress C, come on in.
Good evening.
Hey,
Hello.
okay. All right. How you doing, Mistress C?
I'm well, and yourself?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing wonderful. Now, we see you have your mask on. Your is it called a mask costume? How do you reference it? I want to make sure that I'm being respectful in how I talk about how you're
It's
dressed.
just simply a mask.
So how long have you been in the BDSM world? When did you first realize that this is something that you wanted to do?
So, I've been in the BDSM world for about 4 or 5 years. I've been doing it professionally for two. Um, I realized that it was something that I wanted to do because I kind of fell into it. I kept getting asked to do it, and by people that was dating. And so I finally decided to give it a try, and the rest is history.
Now, why do you think they wanted you to do that? I'm assuming that you're a dom, or are you a switch, or
I
what?
am. So basically, I identify as a dom, because for the majority of my relationships, I am in a dominant position. Every now and then, very rarely, I will switch,
Is that
but I
hard?
don't consider myself a switch. So,
Is that hard to do?
I see. So I only switch for specific reasons.
Okay.
So for me personally, I can switch if I'm in love, but if it's not love and it's just sex, you get in the dom.
Okay.
Yeah. So for let's say someone has come to our podcast and they know nothing about the BDSM lifestyle. Can you kind of explain to them what it is and what your role is specifically?
Okay, so basically, BDSM stands for bondage, discipline, sadism, and I always say the last one wrong because I'm
Masochism.
just terrible at it.
Masochism.
Masochism. I always say it wrong, but basically, so it's for people who have a difference of things that get them off sexually in a different manner. So, and it's just as simple as that. So basically, for people who just like what we deem as normal things, just, maybe kissing and hugging, that might get them off. But people in the BDSM lifestyle, they might like to be tied up. It might take them to the next level. So the B stands for bondage, like I said. So some people might like to get tied up. Some people like to be disciplined. They like to be spanked. People who are in the vanilla world don't, they might get spanked every time they have sex, and they don't think that that is a kink, but it actually is. If it's something that if you can't get off without getting spanked, then it's a kink. If
So
getting spanked makes you come harder, then that's a kink. Does that make sense?
it
Mhm.
does.
So,
So
and then as far as the S and the M, I'm sorry. Some people like to experience pain during, sexual activities, and some people like to give the pain. It gives them more of a more gratification.
understood. Understood. So if like if I like pulling hair and smacking ass, and the person I'm with, they like that as well, but we don't necessarily consider ourselves, in the BDSM lifestyle, but it's just something that we like to do, but we don't have to have it. Then does that mean it's not necessarily a kink? It's just something that we do to have fun.
Yeah, it's just fun, but you know, they classify it as a kink if it's like you need that thing to make you actually have an orgasm, or
Mm.
you need that thing to just make you feel um whether it be secure or make you, feel warm inside, and whatever it is that takes you to the next level, that's it.
Okay. Now, what is it about you that your previous partners felt like you would be a good person to be their dom? Like, is it your day-to-day personality? Is it something that that interaction that you have with them? What is it about you that made them say, "Hey, listen, I want you to dominate me"?
So I think what it is that it's my stature, basically. That's the whole thing. So I am a pretty tall and voluptuous woman. So automatically I get people, who want to have me treat them in a certain kind of way. And so I was always asked, I would say like maybe 7 out of 10 of my relationships, they would say, can you, you know, uh, kind of manhandle me? Can you, would you take charge? Take charge in the bedroom, take charge in our relationship, because contrary to popular belief, everything in the BDSM world does not involve sex. Some people like to be dominated in other areas of their life,
Okay.
or they want to submit in other areas of their life, and it does not involve sexual relations.
So so the role of Dom is played like 24/7. It's not just okay, we want to play in the bedroom. Now I put on the mask and this is when we start. For some people, it's a lifestyle, like literally, like it's what they do throughout the day as a part of their relationship.
And it really depends on what you negotiate with your partner, whether that be your play partner or if that is your actual full-time committed partner. So basically, a play partner is somebody that you just meet up and you do things that each of you have negotiated, given consent, and agreed upon. So if you have decided, okay, well, let's say a submissive, we call them just subs. If a submissive had decided that they wanted to meet up, they wanted to get spanked, they wanted to be in bondage, but just for that night, then that's the agreed upon, negotiation, and that's all we're doing. But you have some subs who want a 24/7. They want a what we call the total power exchange, the TPE. So they want to be dominated 24/7. They want you to tell them what they're going to wear to work, what they're going to eat, whether or not they can hang out with the boys. They want total power exchange so that they can have that kind of release in their life where they don't have to make those decisions and things like that.
Okay, you said that you were asked in several relationships to be their dom. What made you actually say, "Okay, let me try this"?
Well, I was I'm an adventurous person, and basically it was like I'm like, there's got to be something to this. I had read erotica in the past. I knew things just by, learning and reading and different things like that. And so I knew personally that I'm not the type of person who I'm not a sadist. So I don't get off in giving pain. So initially I thought, okay, this isn't something that I would be good at because I'm not the person who likes to give pain. But then I found out that there are so many other aspects. There's so many different categories that fall under being a dom. You can be a mommy dom, you can be a pleasure dom, things like that. So I decided upon learning that I would do a little bit more research and give it a try. And so when I gave it a try, I really enjoyed how it made me feel. Um, you know, Even though that was someone that I was dating, as opposed to what I'm doing now, on the professional side, I enjoy, being asked, uh, you know, could they do this or that? How did they want me? How did they want me to be pleased? Um, did they have my permission to do certain things? So that within itself gave me another level of really getting into the role play. So for me, I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. I enjoyed it, blah, 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 blah. But then it turned into, I didn't think I was really going to continue until I got paid for it. And then I was like, oh, that's a different level. It's a different level of gratification for me. So I continued.
So I want to get into the transition to being, it is called a pro dom. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. But can you give a brief explanation about the mommy dom and the pleasure dom? Are you able to do that?
Sure. So a mommy dom is basically someone who there are let me just say this. A mommy dom is someone who basically would encourage their subs, um, kind of like in the role of a mother. Like you encourage them, you care about them, you ask them how their day was, um, how can you help? You listen to them. You're basically being empathetic and nurturing. And that's basically what some people seek out. Mommy doms even do hugging and cuddling sessions and things like that.
Okay. And the pleasure
And
dom?
then the pleasure dom, pleasure
I'm
dom,
sorry when you said the pleasure dom.
pleasure doms go, it's a wide range. So it's basically um, more of like you're saying, a pleasure dom is more of a lover, not a fighter. So a pleasure dom is all about making you feel good, not hurting you, basically, not humiliating you. So, a pleasure dom can give into your praise kink. They can say, if you just want to know all the time, how good you are at something, or how good you look or something like that. A pleasure dom is more sensual, and that's the nature of what they do. So if you like to be if you like a feather rubbed on you, or you just like to be massaged, or you just want sweet nothings whispered in your ear, you want somebody blowing your ear, you just like to be teased. That's what a pleasure dom does. And of course, with all doms, there is a level of where you keep it non-sexual, and then you can go to the next level with sex. So if you are a pleasure dom and you're going to the next level with sex, then it might be something as far as, whatever their favorite position is, or, whatever thing that they need, if that's strawberries and chocolate, whatever it is that makes them feel like they're in a, the most romantic fantasy they've ever had in their life.
Right. So talk
So
about the transition. Go ahead, Tay. My bad.
no, you were going where I was going. What made you want to transition from just doing it for fun and then becoming a professional?
So basically, as I was kind of, learning more about the lifestyle and going to play parties and going to dungeons and things like that, and I was meeting other doms and finding out about other doms online and things like that. Um, you know, I decided, there are people out here that are really doing this, full time, and they are making a living out of it. And so I just wanted to basically put my pinky toe in it and see if it was something that, I could do. And a lot of it is because being a pro dom, you can do that virtually as well. And so I was like, let me try virtually and let me see if I like it. It gave me kind of a rush when I started. And like I said, when I got paid, I was like, okay, I could get with this. And what I realized is, for me, is that getting paid is a part of my kink. So it's like, yeah, I can go to a party and I can use my, paddle, and I can use my flogger, and I could spank you and all of that. And that's all well and good. And it makes me feel, like Superwoman for the moment. But when when you pay me and you beg me to do it, then I feel like Thanos. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a whole different feeling. So
Hmm. Okay. All right. So have you ever had somebody say, Mistress C, uh, I want to be your sub, and then you all get into it and then they say, you know what, I thought I could handle it, but it's just not for me. Has it ever been too intense for somebody that you've been with?
So that is part of, you always negotiate prior to a scene. So a scene is when you get together, you decide you're going to play, and you, whatever that might be, whether they're getting spanked, walked like a dog, you know, fire play, hot wax, whatever it might be that they're into. Um, your eyes got really big there.
Fire play. I was like,
Yes, there's a lot of things. There's fire play, there's needle play. There's a lot of things in categories in the world of BDSM that people might not know about, you know. But yeah, when somebody decides that they want to play with you, you have to go through number one, consent. Consent is the most important. These are the things that they like, and these are their hard limits. You also have to make sure that you have a safe word, of course, so that if a scene gets too intense, like you were saying, and they need to stop or they want you to slow down, then they will say the safe word. So in most dungeons and in most, you know, dom sub relationships, people use the red light green, um, red light green, the stoplight where it's red, yellow, green. They use those words. So basically, when you are in a scene and you're, let's say I'm paddling the hell out of you and you're screaming and you're hollering, that might mean you're having, you know, you're enjoying it. And so I ask you, you know, what color are you? And if they say green, it's like they're good to go, let's do it. If they say yellow, it means slow down, I might need to take a breath. If they say red, that means stop, I'm done, I can't take it. So to your point, most scenes are negotiated ahead of time. But as always, let's say you hit the wrong spot by accident, and somebody's like, okay, that's too much for me. Then they have the option to stop the scene with their safe word.
okay. So we got a couple questions from our followers. One person asked, how does one get into the BDSM community? So I'm assuming they're asking like, how would they find someone like you, Mistress C, or a community for them to, you know, get more acquainted with the lifestyle?
So the how I started was that I basically got on FetLife. So FetLife is the largest BDSM site that's out there right now. And so what FetLife does, it allows you to search your city for events, people in your city that like the same things you like, and also, you know, the different like dungeons that might be in your area. So that's the number one way that people can find. There's so many, like there's thousands and thousands of categories. So let's say you're into, let's say you're into balloons. They have groups for people who are into balloons. Um, let's say you're into what do they call them? Oh my God, furries. You know, so you like to wear the tails, and you also like to wear, you know, the little bunny ears, and you like soft things, and you want to be a little, as they call it. So you want to act like a, you know, child in that kind of way. Then they have groups for things like that. There are 1,012 groups, and most groups have something for your city specifically.
Okay, so this is a question that I hope. Yeah, I'm trying to, you know, be professional and not be my normal like clown self, but I gotta ask this question. The only way that it's gonna make sense if I just be myself. So you said you've been doing this for the last 4 years, right?
Yeah, 4 years, to professionally.
Okay. So you look you look like a grown woman, right? So that means that you have been doing the grown up for a little while. I'm making an assumption, right?
Mhm.
So are you able to go back to say like, hey, you meet a guy and he's like, look, I just want to fuck. I don't want to do all that BDSM stuff. Can you do that? Or are you too far gone? And you're like, no, this is my lifestyle and this is what I do now.
Oh no, I'm not I don't do this 24/7. So, some people don't turn it off. I turn it off. That's why I have on a mask, because I have other things that I need to do. So, I do protect my identity.
Right. Do you enjoy it though? Like, can like just a quote unquote vanilla sex session, can that be pleasurable to you? Can you get off like that, or is it more difficult because you are so much? You said you stuck your toe in it. There's an old song by the Whisperers say, "I only meant to wet my feet," but you jumped all the way in. You know what I mean? So can you enjoy it like this? For example, 6'3", bald headed black dude that lives in Dallas says, "Hey, I want to make love to you. Would you enjoy it?"
Absolutely. So this is the thing. This is the thing. It's very much it's like, if you're a performer, think about it this way. So, Beyonce is Beyonce. She's a mother. She does her thing. But when she has to go on stage, she's Sasha Fierce. And so it's like Batman and Bruce Wayne. You got two different personas going on. So, and I'm not a person who, like, my kink is not getting grabbed by the throat and choked, let's say. So that's not going to affect me not being able to have regular sex or whatever. So I have very specific kinks. So yeah.
Did
But
you
yes,
go ahead?
I'm sorry, Miss Tay.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna tell him, yeah, bald-headed black man can get it.
Ready first.
Oh, my question was just going to be, did you have to go through any type of training to be a dominant or to do the different types of things that are done within the lifestyle?
So that's a very good question. There are a lot of people who just think that they can jump into it, but you will find out very soon that you, number one, won't get any clients if you don't know what you're doing. Number two, you're going to be flailing all over the place. Me personally, I am a consummate researcher. So before I tried to go professional, obviously, I did a lot of research, and I started going to dungeons in my area, taking classes, um, communicating and uh, building friend groups with other DOMs. And just, I'm always learning. I was at a class last week learning how to do fire play. So I'm always trying to add to my list of options, the things that I offer, my list of offerings. So yes, some people think that they can just jump right into it, but you'll find out pretty quickly that you do have to go out and learn, you know, whatever way that might be for you, if it's attending different play parties and observing, if it's going to dungeons and classes. They even have a lot of they do have like workshops and things like that other pro doms are putting on. I know that Mistress Marley is extremely popular right now. And she has shops like all over the workshops all over the country, and she has like online classes and things like that.
Okay, so let me ask this. I can tell even with the mask on, you're a beautiful black woman. You said you're voluptuous, tall, I like that. Um, in the past, well, up until recently, me personally, I always felt like BDSM equaled WPS. You know what WPS stands for. Is there, you don't,
Mm-mm.
white people shit.
Oh, okay.
So is there, and I don't know what part of the country you're in, you don't have to share, but is there a strong black community when it comes to the BDSM lifestyle, or is it really, like, we are sort of like raisins in a bowl of milk trying to find our niche into this community? Is there a black, like you said, fet life? Is there a segment for black people that want to get down in the BDSM lifestyle?
So this is the thing, like you said, basically depends on what part of the country you're in. We're always, 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 always going to be the raisins in the milk. Because most of the professional dungeons and the really big ones, they're just, they're 80% Caucasian. So what FET offers and what some other spaces offer, they offer like specific munches and things like that. So a munch is basically like it's like an outing at a restaurant where everybody is wearing vanilla. Everybody's in regular clothes, okay? Because you're at a public space, but you get to meet up with like-minded people. And have dinner, drinks, whatever. So it's basically like going to a BDSM happy hour. So most places will offer like a black munch so that you can meet other people in your community that are into it like you are, whatever that might be. So when you go on to FetLife, yeah, you might find, black bunnies or black furries or, black mistresses looking to dominate, white men. I'm not saying that I'm in that group, but it's possible. So, you know.
Do you only dominate men, or do you do it for women as well?
I do it for women as well.
Okay.
So I'm equal opportunity.
You heard that, Tay. You get some of this action too, Tay.
I've
Oh,
already
what?
told you. I am a switch for different reasons. But anyway, so you hit on something when you said most people think that they can just jump into the lifestyle. Are
Mhm.
there any other misconceptions that people have when it comes to BDSM?
Absolutely. I think the first one is that everyone wants to be humiliated, or beat. And that is a major, major misconception because dominating someone is not just about hurting them. There's so much more, or tying them up. Some people have very, very like let's say stressful or complicated work lives. And so they come to get dominated so that they can have a release. They can be told what to do and not have to think and for themselves. Or, that's basically what 90% of the people that I've dealt with thus far who want to be dominated, that's kind of just all they want. They just want somebody else to tell them what to do so they don't have to be in charge. And so that's the most common misconception, is that it's all about bondage and beating and whipping and hurting and choking and all that. And that's so not it. The most people just want to feel like whatever it is that they're into, whether that be balloons or furry slippers or whatever it might be, that it's okay. That's all they want to feel, is that whatever it is that they like that gets them off is okay.
What
So, and then I'm
balloon?
sorry.
What's the balloon stuff?
There is a balloon fetish. I can't call the name of what it's actually called right now, but those people, it's something like, I don't want to misquote, but it's like Helionite or something. But they love how balloons squeak, and when balloons get popped, it gives them a rush and a thrill, and sometimes an orgasm. And they like to rub up against them, and they like to wear like rubber clothing and things like that. So yeah,
Right.
it is a thing. But the other misconception is that BDSM is all about sex. So the first misconception is that it's all about pain, humiliation, all that. It's not. The other one is that it's all about sex. It's not. I don't personally I don't have sex with my clients. So I get paid to do other things, you know what I mean? But I don't have sex with my clients. Some doms do, and that's their choice. And I'm not mad at them. Do you, boo? But it, you know, there's so much more. Like some people just want to be cuddled. Some people just want to be, there's a thing known as smothering, where they just want to be like sat on. They want to feel the pressure of another person on top of them. They want to, you know, there's a lot of things that are very vanilla in the BDSM world. And people, you know, and a lot of people think that it's like just debauchery. That's another misconception. There are such tight-knit communities in the BDSM world. And it's because you have to be able to trust the people that you're playing with. If you have someone that's going to be paddling you or whipping you or fire cupping you, um, you want to be sure that that's somebody you could trust. You build relations with that person. You have conversations with them. You vet them. Vetting is extremely important, you know, so you get to know that person. And in some areas, it's more, it's a safer community. They have security where I go. They have all kinds of things put in place. They have medics on hand. It's a safer community than just meeting someone in the street. So I know I've rambled, but
No, I was going to
um,
ask because I was going to ask because I know like in the lifestyle and Tay and I shared, I've kind of I've stuck my toe into the lifestyle, but I know that, getting tested is a big part of that. And we just came off of STI Awareness Month. So to hear you say like there's medics on hand, there's security, most
mhm.
most lifestyle events, you can't fuck around. Like if you get out of hand, they're gonna bounce you quick. It's not even gonna be in negotiations. It's like you're gone. So
Absolutely.
is the like STI checks, is that a part of all this stuff? Like, is it like a holistic, like, hey, we're trying to keep everybody safe in this community? Or am I
So
just, or am I doing what you're saying and assuming that sex is a big part of all of this? Am I making
yeah, absolutely. Now, mind you, of course, I know it's I think I'm kind of numb to it because, like, I go into a party and there are people in the corner, you know, there are things going on, mind you. You know, there's a lot going on and it's sexual, but there's a lot of other things that are going on that are not. So, yeah, it's happening. However, um, it's not what they do. um that's between you and your play partner, so they encourage it, of course. They have condoms on hand, they have all kinds of things on hand if you choose to play in that space, the places where I've been. um I do know I was witness to a gangbang recently. I didn't know it was happening, it was part of the party, it was a performance. So I go to the party, you know, and I'm like, oh, okay, I might spank a few people, whatever, whatever. And they're like, oh, get a good seat because the gangbang's about to start. And I'm like, say what? Say who? So what I did, what I was told by the owner of the dungeon is that yes, it's a rigorous process. They've been planning it for like 3 months. Everyone had to get tested multiple times. So I know they do take that very seriously. Um, However, like for someone like myself who doesn't have sex with her subs, or anyone that I'm playing with, you know, I'm not uh held to getting tested to come into the dungeon, basically. So yeah, that's between you and your partner, whoever you're playing with, and whatever you happen to be doing. But
so
yeah, they do take it seriously in the community.
so many questions that arise from this, real quick, how was it watching the gangbang? Was it like you see on Pornhub, or was it like your thing, or like how many people was it? And was it a reverse gangbang? Was it a bunch of women and one dude? Like what was it?
So it was 7 people in total. So there was one young lady who was getting it all. There were 3 guys and 3 women. Um, and the women had strap-ons.
Oh,
So I didn't expect that. Like I was just like, oh, okay, there's 3 guys and here, this is what's happening. But then when I was like, okay, wait a minute, they're rotating, they keep rotating, they keep, so, and it was like,
and,
oh,
and when I see women with the strap, when I watch porn, they don't cut no slack. They be out. Hey, listen.
And what was very interesting about this particular one is that the dom who orchestrated this and planned it was standing there watching, and it was like she was the conductor. She was doing this and telling them, switch and that kind of thing. And the person who was getting gang banged was her sub. So she had organized this for her particular sub. The person that she actually owns, that particular sub was owned. So it was very interesting. I mean, I was just, for me, I think once you go to, I mean, I don't shock easily. And so I was just sitting there. I could have been watching The Facts of Life or what I don't, Family Guy or something. I was just like, oh, but what was interesting to me was that um I just found it funny because they all had on capes. Like it was just, I'm like, okay, what is this cape thing? And it was just really funny to me. And that a lot of times the guys had to um get some assistance. So they had their partners like on the side. So whenever I guess they weren't really feeling it, because you would think that something like this, um, they're gonna stay erect. But I guess, they weren't really feeling it. They kept losing their erection. So then their partner would like get tagged in, whoever their real partner in real life is.
They
And
had a
so the
fluff,
partner would get them going again. Then they jump back on the girl. It
they
was hilarious to me.
had the fluffer. They call that in porn. Somebody on the side to give them some head or whatever. The
Yeah,
fluffer.
exactly. And that's the thing that was more interesting to me than the actual gangbang. Is just watching the dynamics of the partners getting tagged in. So
Okay. How do you go about vetting your clients?
so vetting is a very um interesting process. So basically for me personally, when I get asked to dom someone, the first thing I make those people do is to tribute. So tribute is a great way for the people who don't know what tribute is. Tribute is basically where they have to basically send me some money to continue the conversation with me and to continue to be the application, basically. So once tribute is a great way to weed people out. Let's just say that. Because a lot of people who don't want to tribute, if you don't even want to tribute, you don't want to play, you don't want to move forward. You want free kink, and it's not happening here. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that I send my subs a questionnaire asking them, what kinds of things are they into? What are their hard limits? Requesting references if they have them, and asking them what kind of, like, how long have they been in lifestyle? What kind of experiences have they had? Have they ever had a dom before? Those kinds of things. Where do they play? That kind of stuff. And so once they fill out that questionnaire and get it back to me, then we go into, now I need to, if we're going to continue to play and we're on the same level, and I think that it could be a match, now I need some identification. So you're going to have to send me identification so that I can check you. And then for me, moving forward, we meet in public at like a play party or a munch or something like that. So this is before we ever, ever, ever have a scene. And some people don't get through all those steps. Because unfortunately, well, maybe fortunately, I don't know. There are a lot of people who are like, they'll just keyboard you, DM you and say, hey, I want to do this. I want to suck your toes. Can we fuck? And some people will be like, okay, yeah. And then they meet up and fuck. That's not how my life operates. That's not the type of dom that I am. And so my vetting process is strict and it's no nonsense. And if you can't make it through that, then we will not play.
So, what's your favorite tool in your tool bag? You mentioned paddles, you mentioned flogger. I thought I saw you with a whip as we were getting ready for the show. Like, what's your Like do you always use like what's your favorite implement? And then like do you always use like an implement? You ain't like punching people or smacking them or stuff like
Oh
that.
no. Oh
Okay.
no. Oh
I'm
no.
just
Too
making
delicate for
sure.
that. Well, so for me, I like to flog people. I think I prefer the floggers because I have several. And some sting more than others. Some are made with different materials. So I like to flog people more so than paddle. Because the flogger, it leaves a different kind of mark. It also has a different kind of sound. And depending on, you can basically change the impact, the level of impact with the floggers, that I feel like, you can do it with the paddle, but it's not as much. And also the flogger just seems to be more easier for me to handle. Because the paddle can get, I have a wood paddle, I have, a leather paddle. It can get kind of, annoying with, if after using it for a while. But my favorite toy is the vibrating butt plug with the remote control. So I love to have I love,
Listen,
to have.
I'm already out of the vet process right there.
That's my favorite tool to use if I'm asked to, if a sub wants to be dominated in a certain type of way, because they could just basically be there kneeling at my feet, and they can push a button. I can push a button and send them into another world because they have misbehaved or they didn't do something correctly. So yeah, it's just another level of control.
So you mentioned the vet process. We had somebody ask a question, and it's pretty intense, and I get it, in terms of safety, and you don't want to waste your time. But a question one of our followers asked is, can somebody, and this is their words, they have been listening, can they just stick their toe in, or do they have to be all the way in to be able to participate?
Absolutely not. You could just stick your toe in. You could come to or go to a play party in your area. And the thing about the play parties is that most of the dungeons in the major cities have a very good protocol where they're taking your ID at the door, they have security, that kind of thing. So it's like a safe environment for you to get started and for you to stick your toe in. And That's where I encourage most people to start. I don't encourage people to start, on Facebook or you know, date, whatever dating site people might be on, because a lot of people are, I mean, on the dating sites, a lot of people are saying I'm into feed, or I'm into this and that, or I am looking for Dom in their bio. And so, it's like, don't get caught up that way. You have to, if you're going to try it out, you want to dip your toe in, you want to be safe, then that's the way to do it. They also have conventions all over. Um, and they have conventions specific to whatever it is that you might be into. If you're into leather, if you're into, you're into animals, they have conventions on with a lot of things. So
What?
yeah, some people are, they have like people who like horses or whatever, and so they want to gallop around and they want to be near horses, and that kind of stuff. Not that they're having sex with the horses, but I'm just saying that's one of the things that they like to do. So
Mm, okay.
yeah, there's some people, I'm sure you've seen it. Like, one of the ones that's like extremely popular is called you know, adult baby lifestyle, ABL or whatever. And basically, these are people who like to wear diapers, and they like to have pacifiers in their mouth, and they like to, goo goo gaga. And what they want, they even have huge human size cribs in their house, or they have one at the dungeon. But and some people like that. And so that's a thing. So they have conferences with just the adult baby lifestyle. You know, they have stuff like that where you can go and buy. Well, they do sell diapers our size now because you know, depends, but where they have pacifiers, where they have huge baby onesies for adults, things like that. So, you know, and you can meet other people that are into that. And those people also need handlers. So, you know, because there's a lot of babies running around, but they want somebody to be their parent. They want somebody to spank them and, you know, put them in their crib and tuck them in and that kind of thing. So if you can think about it, if you can think about it, imagine it, it's a kink. I'm just saying, probably listed as a kink.
Has there been a time where a sub has wanted you to do something and it completely turned you off? And how do you handle that?
Absolutely, because so uh I played with someone. We were at a party, a play party, and I played with someone, and that was my first time meeting them. But I knew that only I played with them. I had intentions. Let me just say that. I wanted to, let me just be honest. Can I be honest with y'all?
Please.
Okay, so I went to this party and it was supposed to be for all Black people, right? Well, this white guy was there. It was a play party. And this white guy was there. So I'm like, what the hell are you doing here? I thought this was our space, right? And so I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, the owner invited me. So the owner knows him, whatever, whatever. So I basically played with him on our first meeting because I wanted to punish him for being there in our space. And so, and he was down for whatever. And so I, yeah, he wanted me, he was like, I'll do whatever you want. And we were having a, you know, good time. I was paddling him. I had him, you know, on the cross. The cross is the thing they hang you on and you're like, you know, this and you
Yeah.
bondage. I had the ball gag in his mouth. I had the you know, the vibrator up its butt, the butt plug. I had him crawling on all fours. I put him in a cage. I did all kinds of things with him. Had him singing a Black national anthem. Every time he got a word wrong, I spanked his ass and, you know, did all these other things. But then he's like, I'll do whatever you want me to do, mistress. Um, and he's like, can you give me a golden shower? I'm like, so that's turned me off, to answer your question. And I was just like, okay, I was having fun, but that's not my kink. And I'm not about to, even though you're down for whatever and you'll do whatever I say at this moment, that's not something that, like, now I'm disgusted because that's not my thing.
That seems to be a big thing now. A lot of people talk about, sisters getting flown out to Dubai so they can get, either urinated on or defecated on for the bag. And I mean, we've had people on the show who've been on the hot seat and they've said, hey, listen, yeah, I've done it. We in the shower, we get it on. But yeah, that was the limit. Him, you
Yeah, my limit is,
you did it for
yeah,
the culture, but you couldn't pee on for the culture.
I don't do bodily fluids, scat, or anything like that. So, and that was discussed prior to us playing. We did talk about our limits and things like that. I think he got caught up and he was just very, very much wanting to please me. And so he's like, I'll do whatever you want. You know, you could give me a golden shower right now in my mouth and I wouldn't mind. And I'm like, no, thank you, sir. And on that note, Chad, you can get up and go. So, yeah.
Okay. All right.
So, do the people in your life know what you do? If so, how do they feel about it?
So it depends on who it is. Some do and some don't. You know, a lot of my friends know. And they're not surprised. just because they know the type of person I am. Everybody always says they live vicariously through me. And they also know that I'm not out here hoeing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'm doing just enough to get my bag and satisfy my lifestyle and whatever, but the people that don't, it's only because I just haven't said anything to them about it. I'm not ashamed of what I'm doing at all, because I'm not out here. I'm different. Some doms, they are doing the most. I'm not doing the most. You know what I mean? So uh I think most of it, like I said, most of my people, that they're not surprised. Um and they don't they don't think of me any differently. They're they're just like, we if anyone would do it, we knew it would be you.
Mm.
So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Like what you're showing us right now too. So listen, um, um,
Trying to adjust.
we usually end the show with a nasty or normal, or would you or wouldn't you, right? That's how you say it, Tay. Would you or wouldn't you?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. So considering that you are, knee deep in the alternative lifestyle, I'm gonna ask you something, and we all gonna answer, right? Okay. There's a thing called a lemon party. Have you heard of that?
I have not.
So a lemon party basically is, a lifestyle party, but for people in their 70s and 80s.
Okay.
And they're getting it in. So if you were invited to a lemon party, would you play?
If I'm getting paid, absolutely. But I will not be getting penetrated, or anything of that nature. If you would like for me, if you would like for me to do some things to you, as far as,
That
if
meat's gonna be soft though. That meat's gonna be soft though. So you can it won't really count.
listen, all I'm saying is, if you want me to come and spank you and order you around, and then sure.
Tay, would you play at a lemon party?
At the age I'm at now, no. But if by any chance I was still in the swinging lifestyle at that age, I possibly would.
You wouldn't let Cleophas hit it?
Nah. No. Nope.
Uh, what's funny is I'm working on a project offline, and I've been talking to a lot of, brothers that are in their like mid 70s, approaching 80. And the topic came up of like, hey, do you know this person right here? And the particular person we were talking about, back when they were all in college, she was cheerleader, sorority, or whatever. And you could tell when we asked the audience, did you know this person? And they were like, oh yeah, like yeah, we knew her. So you could tell she was bad back in the day.
Mm.
And my guy said, yeah, she in her 70s, homie, but she's still bad. So I kind of looked at him, and when I looked, because there's a question between me and my guys, like, would you hit? And we really got to the point, it was like, would you not hit? Because basically, as long as it look cool and it look healthy and everything, we're gonna fuck. I said, would you hit? And they didn't want to say yes. But I was like, if she fine enough, take their top teeth out. Take their top teeth out, Myrtle, and let's get it on.
Not Myrtle.
Don't yuck my yum. Do not yuck my yum. But if Myrtle got the good knees, I'll let her bounce on it. Shit. Hey, what's wrong with it? What's wrong with it? I probably have to really like put myself in a like what did Marcus say on a boomerang? Could you get a little bit darker in here? Probably have to like focus on like one thing, but yeah, Marcus got a fat ass. I'm hitting it.
I mean, I'm not mad at you, you know.
I feel like I'm being judged right now.
I'm not at all, you know. We all have our preferences, you know.
Well,
And
I have one last question. Mistress C, can I close out the show?
absolutely.
Hey, I'm getting the hang of it. All right, table tell me they can find us.
You can find us at Conversates After Dark everywhere. And if you would like to be a guest on the show or you have a topic you want us to cover, you can reach us at CVAD, the podcast at gmail.com. Make sure you like this video, share it, and subscribe. And leave us a comment.
That's right. Go to our website, www.conversateafterdark.com. We'll watch you next time. Shout out to Mistress C. We'll watch you next time. Peace.
Bye.